how does exercise impact the brain? When you exercise, you improve circulation to the brain. And along with circulation, perfusion, or the ability of oxygen and nutrients to get into the tissues of the brain. And if we look at this 2008 observational study from the Journal of Physiology, there's a really interesting observation that shows us direct evidence that exercise will improve blood flow to what's known as the MCA, or the middle cerebral artery. And that's what you're seeing in this schematic. So why does the middle cerebral artery matter? Well, you've probably felt in your neck your pulse, right? This is your carotid artery. As we go upward, the carotid bifurcates externally to supply the face and neck, and then internally to supply the middle cerebral artery. And this is one of the main blood highways, if you will, for supplying the brain. So if we can show improvements in the velocity of blood through this artery, we know that we're getting better blood supply to the brain. And in this schematic, what you're seeing is MCAV, middle cerebral artery velocity, and it's 17% better in those who are trained or exercise as compared to those who are sedentary. So we see improvements in one of the main blood supplies to the brain when you exercise. Along with that, when we exercise, we know that we release a number of growth factors. You may have heard of this compound known as BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. It's nicknamed Miracle Grow for the brain because it's so powerful in improving brain growth. And similar but different is another compound known as IGF-1, or insulin-like growth factor 1. Now, insulin sometimes gets a bad rap, but you need insulin. This is why type 1 diabetics, they can't live. You literally can't live without insulin. Now, yes, on the other side of the spectrum, too much insulin can be a problem. But for growth, we do need insulin, and we also need insulin-like growth factor 1. Now, when considering growth factors, it would stand to reason that exercise through improving levels of growth factors would then lead to improvements in brain volume. And thankfully, this appears to be the case. Exercise appears to directly improve brain volume. Looking at a 2011 randomized control trial in aerobic training, so sedentary people who then started aerobic training, they found improvements in the volume of the hippocampus. And this is the next image I want to share with you. What you're seeing is over time, two groups of people have the volume of their hippocampus plotted out. And I'll tie in why the hippocampus is so crucial in just a second. There's two lines. Those who start exercising see an upward and to the right improvement or a higher volume of their hippocampus. And those who are sedentary, you see the line goes down and to the right, meaning they are literally losing brain volume, specifically the hippocampus, over time because they are sedentary. So what compelling evidence this is. Now, the hippocampus is chiefly responsible for regulation of memory, specifically conversion of short-term to long-term memory. And in disease states like Alzheimer's, you will see a diminishment of hippocampal volume over time. Now, this was in aerobic training, but we want to ask the question, might we see similar benefits from resistance? And this enters a 2017 randomized control trial where, good news, they found in sedentary versus those who lift weights or other sorts of resistance training, maybe it's bands, maybe it's body weight, they have better hippocampal volume than those who do not exercise. And that's what you're seeing here. There's two bar graphs. Green is those who exercise. You clearly see a higher volume, and those who are sedentary have a lower volume. So thankfully here, we see that either type of exercise can lead to improvements of the volume of the hippocampus, this crucial center of the brain for learning and memory.